जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जयो गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। सारस्वते देवे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Devi. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Devi. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, निताई गौर सुंदर की, पतित पावन श्री प्रभुपाद की, समस्त गौर भक्त विंद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Studying from Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 13, Text number 47. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam की जय। एवं स निर्विन्न मना नृपो गृहान्। एवं स निर्विन्न मना नृपो गृहान् निष्ठा उत्थाय महोदयोदयात् निशिथ उत्थाय महोदयोदयात् अलब्ध निद्रो अनुपल्कक्षितो नृभिर् अलब्ध निद्रो अनुपलक्षितो नृभिर् हित्वा गतो वेन सुवं प्रसुप्ताम् हित्वा गतो वेन सुवं प्रसुप्ताम् एवं स निर्विन्न मना नृपो गृहान् निशीथ उत्थाय महोदयोदयात् अलब्ध निद्रो अनुपलक्षितो नृभिः हित्वा गतो वेन सुवं प्रसुप्ताम् एवं स निर्विन्न मना नृपो गृहान् निशीथ उत्थाय महोदयोदयात् अलब्ध निद्रो अनुपलक्षितो नृभिर् हित्वा गतो वेन सुवं प्रसुप्ताम् एवं स निर्विन्न मना नृपो गृहान् निशीथ उत्थाय महोदयोदयात् अलब्ध निद्रो अनुपलक्षितो नृभिः हित्वा गतो वेन सुवं प्रसुप्ताम् एवं स निर्विन्न मना नृपो गृहान् निशीथ उत्थाय महोदयोदयात् अलब्ध निद्रो अनुपलक्षितो नृभिः हित्वा गतो वेन सुवं प्रसुप्ताम् एवं स निर्विन्न मना नृपो गृहान् निशीथ उत्थाय महोदयोदयात् अलब्ध निद्रो अनुपलक्षितो नृभिः हित्वा गतो वेन सुवं प्रसुप्ताम् एवं स निर्विन्न मना नृपो गृहान् निशीथ उत्थाय महोदयोदयात् अलब्ध निद्रो अनुपलक्षितो नृभिः हित्वा गतो वेन सुवं प्रसुप्ताम् Word for word meaning evam thus sa he nirvinna mana being indifferent in mind nripa king anga grihat from home nisithe in the dead of night utthai getting up maha udayat opulent by the blessings of great souls alabdha nidra being without sleep anupalakshita without being seen nibhi by people in general hitva giving up gata went off vena suvam the mother of vena prasuptam sleeping deeply. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thinking like that, King Anga could not sleep at night. He became completely indifferent to household life. Once, therefore, in the dead of night, he got up from bed and left Vena's mother, his wife, who was sleeping deeply. He gave up all attraction for his greatly opulent kingdom, and unseen by anyone, he very silently gave up his home and opulence and proceeded towards the forest. Purport. In this verse, the word Mahodayodayat indicates that by the blessings of great souls, one can become materially opulent, but when one gives up attachment to material wealth, that should be considered an even greater blessing from the great souls. It was not a very easy task for the king to give up his opulent kingdom and young faithful wife, but it was certainly a great blessing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he could give up the attachment and go out to the forest without being seen by anyone. There are many instances of great souls leaving home in this way in the dead of night, giving up attachment for home, wife, and money. Next verse. विज्ञाय निर्विद्य गतं पतिं प्रजा पुरोहितामात्य सुहृदगणादयः विचिक्युर्व्याम् अतिशोककातरा यथा निगूढं पुरुषं कुयोगिनः. Translation. When it was understood that the king had indifferently left home, all the citizens, priests, ministers, friends, and people in general were greatly aggrieved. They began to search for him all over the world, just as a less experienced mystic searches out the super soul within himself. Purport. The example of searching for the super soul within the heart by the less intelligent mystic is very instructive. The absolute truth is understood in three different features, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such Kuyoginaha, or less intelligent mystic, can by mental speculation reach to the point of impersonal Brahman, but they cannot find the super soul who is sitting within each living entity. When the king left, it was certain that he was staying somewhere else. But because the citizens did not know how to find him, they were frustrated like the less intelligent mystics. Next verse. Alakshyantaha padavim prajaptair hatodyamaha prati upsritya te purim rishin sametan abhivandya sasravo nyavedyan paurava bhratir viplavam. Translation. When the citizens could not find any trace of the king, after searching for him everywhere, they were very disappointed, and they returned to the city where all the great sages of the country assembled because of the king's absence. With tears in their eyes, the citizens offered respectful obeisances and informed the sages in full detail that they were unable to find the king anywhere. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Udapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagandhagunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhyayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Iswaram. So it is mentioned that thinking like that, King Anga could not sleep at night. So we'll see that what he is thinking. It's all explained in the previous verses. The boy was born partially in the dynasty of a religion. His grandfather was death personified, and the boy grew up as his follower. He became a greatly religious person. After fixing his bow and arrow, the cruel boy used to go to the forest and unnecessarily kill innocent deer. And as soon as he came, all the people could cry, "Here comes cruel Vena! Come, here comes cruel Vena!" The boy was so cruel that while playing with young boys of his age, he would kill them very mercilessly, as if they were animals meant for slaughter. After seeing the cruel and merciless behavior of his son, Vena, King Anga punished him in different ways to reform him, but was unable to bring him to the path of gentleness. He thus became greatly aggrieved. The king thought to himself, "Persons who have no son are certainly fortunate. They must have worshipped the Lord in their previous lives so that they would not have to suffer the unbearable unhappiness caused by a bad son." A sinful son causes a person's reputation to vanish. His religious activities at home causes irreligion and quarrel among everyone, and this creates only endless anxieties. Who, if he is considered an intelligent, would desire such a worthless son? Such a son is nothing but a bond of illusion for the living entity, and he makes one's home miserable. Then the king thought, "A bad son is better than a good son, because a good son creates an attachment for home, whereas a bad son does not. A bad son creates a hellish home from which an intelligent man naturally becomes very easily detached." You see that how King Anga was feeling so bad. His son Vena, such a cruel person, just by playing he will turn around the neck of his classmates, his batchmates, and then kill them very mercilessly. He'll go inside the pond, and while swimming he will take few of them and dunk inside the water, and they will, you know, not able to take breath, and they will die. Like this he was very merciless, very cruel, and all the citizens were also very afraid of him, and he was thinking that he is doing favor, he is giving punishment and correcting. This is his right as a king. It's like very cruel. And Maharaj Anga now is thinking, he tried to correct his son. It's mentioned here very for a long time he tried to correct his son, but he will never take that correction. He will continue to be what he was. And then King Anga is thinking that it's certainly better to not have a son, bad son. And he was completely frustrated, and finally is thinking that actually it is for my good fortune that I have got son like this. This certainly because of him I lost attachment for home. And he was contemplating like this, and finally he decided to quit his home for a higher caste. Mentioned that thinking like that, King Anga could not sleep at night. He became completely indifferent to household life. We will see that, and sometime when we are in difficulties, some big chaos has taken, then night time we will not be able to sleep. Suddenly we will wake up in the middle of night, or the sleep won't come, thinking about all this all the time. Like this, King Anga, he was not able to sleep, and slowly he become detached from household life. And once upon a time, in the middle of night, he got up and he left uh, the queen, and by divine arrangements, she was also prasuptam, very deeply sleeping. And he gave up everything, his kingdom, everything he gave up in the night, dead of night, he left home. He went to forest and started meditating on the Lord. So, like last time we discussed that King Vena tried everything to correct his son, and he was not able to do that. And finally, he decided to completely depend on the Lord. He decided, now I have tried my best. Now, best thing I can do is to practice Krishna consciousness and leave it to the Lord. Let the Lord see what best can be done. And he completely left upon the Lord, and in the night he just left to the forest. And we will see that how it was a very wise decision. And he was very successful in his life. He went back to Godhead, and uh, later also Prithu Maharaj, the Lord's incarnation, the potency of ruling, uh, he appeared in dynasty of Anga Maharaj through Vena. So Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Saranam Bhaja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshaisyami Ma Sucha. So give up all types of religion, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam, just surrender to me alone. I'll deliver you from all your sins. Do not fear. Krishna is reassuring that don't fear. And we can see a classical example here that how Anga Maharaj, he completely dependent on the Lord, fully surrendered himself, and he became fearless. And uh, everything turned out very nice. In the Prabhupada is stressing upon the word Mahodayo Dayat. That's by blessings of great souls, one becomes opulent. Like people take blessings of superiors, blessings of brahmanas to have a to have a good opulent life. Uh, Certainly, by their blessings, one get wealth or good reputation or education. All these things, uh, healthy, swasthya, everything by the blessings of great souls. Prabhupada is saying uh, this is even greater blessings of those great souls, that one becomes detached to all these things. To get all these things is certainly blessings, but greater blessings is to become detached from all this material achievements, material opulence. Uh, we see there is a Prabhupada explains this story that in a forest, one prince, he saw a sage, came to sage, and sage blessed him that Rajaputra Chiranjeevi Bhava, that O prince, you live long. And then uh, after some time brahmachari came, Rishi Putra came. So uh, he blessed him that Rishi Putra means you die immediately. This is blessings he got. And then a hunter visited the sage and asked for the blessings, and he blessed him that you neither die nor live. And then there was a devotee who visited the sage, and the sage blessed him that either you live or die, there is no difference. Jivo va maro va. So the Prabhupada explains this, that Rishi Putra, the prince, since because of his prarabdha karma, is born in such a aristocratic family that he is enjoying life very much. And when we are enjoying our life, living in opulent surroundings, actually when we commit lot of mistakes, uh, we acquire a lot of sinful activities also, and we are careless of our higher purpose in life. So because of all these things, uh, our accumulated pious activities is actually decreasing, and we are also accumulating sinful results, and we are going to suffer for that. So the prince who is enjoying now, if he die immediately, he has to go to hell, or he has to go to suffering situation. So therefore the sage blessed him, at least you are enjoying now, you continue, live long. And then when Rishiputra came, then he said, you immediately die, because you're performing so much great austerity and accumulated so much of pious results. If you die, then you will have a good situation where you can enjoy. And when the hunter came to see him, then he blessed him that no, you neither live nor die, because because of your sinful activities, you are put into this kind of situation. It's a horrible. There you are struggling in this life. So your life is present life also like a hell, and when you are going to die also, you will go to hell only, because you're performing so much sinful activities. So what blessings I can give you? I can neither say that you live because you are suffering, nor I can say that you die, because if you die, you're going to suffer even more. So he's saying neither live nor die. What to say more? Then for devotees is giving blessings, either live or die. There's no difference, because for devotees, uh, they are very happy because they are engaged in service of the Lord. And uh, because therefore they are engaged in service of the Lord, then Krishna consciousness, after they die, they'll again go back to spiritual world, and they will be engaged in service of the Lord, or wherever they go, they will continue rendering service. So for them, the situation remains as it is in this life or next life. So it's telling that your life is very glorious, and uh, you decide how you want to be. Either you can live or you can die. So uh, the happiness one derives from serving the Lord is said that it is uh, much greater than any happiness. The three types of happiness described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Uh, Material happiness, which comes from sense gratification. So material happiness is chapal sukha, is a flickering happiness, and very limited. And then after that is described the spiritual happiness or Brahmananda, the happiness by when one person becomes um, merged into the Brahman, that like Gyanis, they in their perfection, they try to become one with the Lord. Means they're trying to stop their material existence. So that because of all material bad experience, now they are relieved from all that. This is called Brahmananda. That happiness is not even considered like a drop, one drop of happiness, one compared to the happiness when one enjoy while serving the Lord. It's called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of happiness. Serving the Lord, devotees, they enjoy so much of happiness that all other happiness are uh, insignificant. There is so many examples. Uh, the four Kumaras, how they even neglected liberation. Then Vritasura's incident is coming, that he is also saying that I do not want any Dhruva Loka, I don't want any Siddhis, I don't want even liberation, I just want to be engaged in your service. There are so many such incidents. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kabitam va jagadisa kamaye, mam janmani janmani sware bhavatat bhakti rahe tu kitvai. So the happiness one gets from serving the Lord is much more than any other things. So we see that uh, it is a really more blessings greater blessings of a great souls to become detached from all these material opulences and to be engaged in service of the Lord. Actually, it is by the association of the devotees, pure devotees, one receives devotional service. In Bhagavad Gita, we know there are 4 classes of people. Uh, Artho, Jigyasu, Artharthi, Jnani, cha Bharatar. So Krishna is telling these are 4 pious people who comes to me. So, Artho, person who is in distress, Artharthi, who is in seeking some material opulence, wealth, Jigyasu, who is inquisitive, and Jnani, who is wise. He is situated in knowledge. So, there are 4 pious people. They are coming to Krishna. They are called pious because they are coming to the Lord. They are great souls because they are deciding that they should take shelter of the Lord. Their examples are given. Artho, Gajendra, he was in distress and he called for the Lord. And for Artharthi, Dhruva Maharaj, it is given. He was hankering for higher position than even his grandfather, great grandfather. So he was in looking for some wealth. And Jigyasu, inquisitive. The all sages of Naimisaranya, they were very inquisitive to know about the absolute truth. So that example is given for them. And 4 Kumaras, they are called wise because they were already liberated. They were very situated in the knowledge. So there are 4 different classes of people. When they get the association of pure devotees, then they actually this devotional service starts. So by association of devotees, these people who are coming to Krishna, they climb up and become devotees. Therefore, Prabhupada created this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and where people will come and Prabhupada's followers, all of us, we should try to talk to them and explain them about bhakti, try to uh, inspire them to chant the holy names of the Lord. It is our duty to somehow impart Krishna consciousness to whoever coming. This is considered even a greater blessings than to bless somebody to be healthy, to be wise, to be intelligent. To give Krishna consciousness is much more greater blessings. So it's mentioned that by the blessings of all those great sages who visited the whomever King Anga saw, he was now became detached from all his material opulence, his household life, and once in the dead of night he left. We see that in Prabhupada's life also, and Prabhupada lost his money while doing in business. He got this news in Jhansi when he was preaching. League of Devotees he has opened, and there he came to know that servant has stolen his money and he's lost the business. Then for some time Prabhupada was thinking, and suddenly he started laughing because he realized that it is actually the Lord's blessings upon me, because I was still trying to hope for uh, best to get business from to get profit from my business, and I was busy in doing all these things. But now the Lord has shown me the clear way that I should be now take up Krishna consciousness fully. And then there after Prabhupada decided to slowly take Vanaprasthashram, and then we see that Prabhupada left, and because he left his household things, we all getting Krishna consciousness at present. And in next verses uh, it is explained here that it's very nice. We can see that how varnashram system was there in earlier days. The monarchy were not like dictatorship, which is now as like how it's misunderstood at present. Because also in the past it became, because it became like that by influence of Kali Yuga. But earlier, when the sages, the saintly kings like Anga, King Anga Maharaj, all of them were ruling. It was actually the whole kingdom was like a great family. You see here that how when King Anga left, all the prajas, all the citizens, they actually became like lifeless. They all became very desperate, and they went around searching him. They all went around and searching him. This means, and when it was understood that king had indifferently left home, all the citizens, priests, ministers, friends, and people in general were greatly aggrieved. They began to search for him all over the world, just as less experienced mystic searches out the super soul within himself. So the king will maintain the citizens just like the, his own children, and then the citizens will be in so much love and affection that they will be completely cooperating with the king and doing their best. And here when the king Anga left, they all became very desperate. Similar uh, 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 thing we will hear when Lord Ramachandra went to exile for 14 years. As soon as it was known to all Ayodhya Vasis, they all came. They all followed Lord Ramachandra. Uh, but somehow Lord Ramachandra, consoled them and sent them back. So there was so much tie of affection between the whole citizens and the monarchies represented by all the saintly kings. So that those was Vedic times. Now this completely it is different. Wherever there is a monarchy or dictatorship, we see that how citizens are suffering. Therefore, present this new things has come, Republic of India, or this thing where representatives selected by power of votes. But then it is also not uh, because the people who are not very qualified, they do not know what is good or bad for them. They will elect such leaders only, which will exploit them. So this is the drawback for the present system. And Prabhupada is also mentioning here that the example of searching for the super soul within the heart by the less intelligent mystics is very instructive. The absolute truth is understood in three different features, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such kuyogina or less intelligent mystics can, by mental speculation, reach to the point of impersonal Brahman, but they cannot find the super soul who is sitting within each living entity. So, Sri Jagannath Baldev Swadha Maharani ki jai. So we know this famous sloka that Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwaniti Sabdyate. That absolute truth is realized in three different phases: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. So Brahman is the Lord. Then is popular saying that God is everywhere. He is everywhere. So the omnipresence of the Lord is actually the aspect of his Brahman. He is pervading everywhere. It's like sun. Sun pervades everywhere through his light. So similarly, the Lord through the Brahma Jyoti, the Lord from the transcendental body of the Lord, that Brahma Jyoti effulgence comes. That is called Brahman. And Gyanis who are interested to understand absolute truth, uh, when they reach into their perfection of knowledge, then they conclude with this, that everything is Brahman. Sarvam Sarva Khalam Brahman. Everything is Brahman. And they try to merge their identity with the Brahman. See that uh, uh, they are ready, they have worked so hard throughout their life, and they come to this conclusion only, that Brahman is everywhere. But they are not able to realize further that where is the source of the Brahman, what is the source of Brahman. That they are not able to realize. They are not able to see the presence of Lord in every living entities or every atom as super soul. They are not able to come to this conclusion. Somehow or other, these aspects remain missing from them. Because of kuyogina, because they are inexperienced. Prabhupada is telling inexperienced. Inexperienced, less experienced mystic searches out of the super soul within himself. So they are not so much experienced. So Krishna is telling, after many lives, person who are in knowledge, they surrender to me. Bahunam jannam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate. So they have tried to understand the Lord by their mental power, but when after many lifetimes, by somehow or other, when they engaged in service of the Lord, by the blessings of Lord, they actually become qualified, where then they understand that uh, Vasudev Sarvamiti, the Lord is everything. Lord is all in all, and then finally they surrender to Him. We see that how uh, four Kumaras, they went to the spiritual world. They are at the uh, uh, doorstep of Vaikuntha, but still they are unaware of the transcendental qualities of the Lord. And it is by their great fortune that they were able to have they could able to smell the Lord's fragrance coming from the tulsi offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. And because of the effect of that, their consciousness was revived and they surrendered to the Lord. They understood who is Krishna and they surrendered to Him. Like that, we'll see that. So it's when we have a higher experience, then we'll understand about the Lord's further features as a super soul and as Bhagavan. That Brahman is the initial, the Sarva Vyapi, the all-pervading experience is little experience. Is more experience is we understand that he is also situated in heart of everybody, and he is also situated as a Bhagavan in his spiritual world, Goloka. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, पतित पांच प्रभुपाद की जय।